concept is because I don't want to necessarily negate what anybody else knows. I don't even want to disrespect what you know by saying what you believe in. Okay? Truth is an evolving organic force. So there is not one truth, though we like to say that. There isn't. Okay? The only thing that's real in this room is your soul. Everything else is a lie. Because everything else that exists in this room separates us. So we know it's not real. Okay? The book of Tahuti, or we call it Thoth, those of you who do tarot cards, tells us that. When they asked him, they said, what is real? Are not my children real? It's not my wife real? Is not my land real? He said, no, it was all a dream. And he said, well, what is real? The soul. Everything else is fake. This is why in our tradition, we have a goddess by the name of Oshun. Okay? Has anyone ever heard of like Venus, Aphrodite, or any of the goddess of love? Okay, Pampagera, Mary Magdalene, okay, Beyonce, yeah. Why not? Oh, you thought only gods existed back then? You didn't know that they incarnate? They do. Beyonce, Oshun, I mean, okay, her element is gold, okay, and she's known as a goddess of love, but more specifically, she's beauty, she's adornment, and she's congregation. She's the energy of congregative forces. She brings things together. She's what we call dark matter. You know, that matter that scientists are still trying to figure out what the heck is this stuff that keeps everything held together. Because when you really study atoms and molecules, it's mainly just air. So how do they create these solid masses? What's holding everything together? We knew it as Oshun, or love. Some people like to call it. You know, well, nobody really knows what the heck that is. Okay, but we called it love. And she's always in the mirror, laughing. And a lot of people, they look at the mirror. One of the problems with like African tradition and even angelic tradition is that people look at these entities like they're superheroes. You know, like I'm going to call upon Morgana and she's going to come, and they're not superheroes. Or they look at them like they love you. I can feel the love of the angels. The angels don't love you. Which is a hard thing that we have to come to. They're here to serve you. And in order for them to serve you, they need energy, a vehicle of travel. And the only way that you can actually tap into an angelic force is to not only give it a vehicle of travel, but you have to stand as the creator. That's the only person you listen to. So why does Oshun look in the mirror laughing? She's the goddess of beauty, right? All the beautiful, beautiful people in the room, she made you look the way you look. It's a great thing, right? Then why would she be looking at the mirror laughing? What is a mirror? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
A reflection.
A reflection.
Therefore, what she's looking at isn't real. Therefore,
what she's looking at is not real. That's why she's laughing, because she's saying these idiots are actually falling for it.
It's a dream.
They think this is the river. They go to the river and give offerings, and they really like, oh, the sound of the river. So all of their five senses, I'm just toying with them through their five senses. But there are some who wake up and say, wait a minute, no. There's got to be something inside of that river that's animating. That's the spirit. That's Oshun. The word Oshun means the owner of the source. And the source that's being referenced is actually the source of life. Oshun is also a term that we use in Yoruba land for the menstrual cycle as well. Okay, so she's laughing because she's saying this is a holographic universe. And my job, Oshun, Venus, Aphrodite, and all of your wonderful goddesses of love, what they are is they're forgers. Their job is to fake you out by forging a tree. Which you think, you're not looking at a real tree. They're making you think that's a tree. And that distracts you from going into the spirit of the tree. Once you tap into the spirit of the tree, then you can actually find out the tree's wisdom. Or we're out here and we're saying, oh, it's such a beautiful day out. Why? Because it feels good on our skin, because it's giving us good electrical impulses. So now it's a good day. What is the spirit of the day saying? So this is where we come into West African understanding, where we're going beneath the surface. Ori means consciousness, Sa means to select, right? So we all have a head, Ori. We all have consciousness. Your consciousness also represents your will. The one thing, what is it that angels don't have? Anybody know? What separates an angel from not a human, but a man? Woman, man, child.
Free will.
Free will. There we go. Angels do not have will. Okay? They only have consciousness and character. Now, what is the problem with your soul? What is your soul lacking?
Free will.
Right? You got a lot of smart people in here. I heard something.
Free will.
No, that is the thing it does have.
Consciousness and character.
I heard it back there.
Consciousness and character.
Character. It has consciousness. It has no character.
That's a character.
Your soul is boring. Okay, at the soul, your soul level, you are boring. Okay, this is why Lucifer had to be created. Because what did he say? What did he say 11 times? What was it? Anybody remember the 11th one? How did he start the sentences? Anybody remember? I will. Angels not allowed to say, you will. You don't have will. No, that's not your area. You just do. You do water, you do fire, you do healing. You can't cross the line. And the last I will he said was, I will soar the heavens even higher than your throne. So God said, cool, no problem. I don't have any beef with you. But you have to fall into darkness first. You're going to have to fall and you're going to have to be corrupted. Lucifer means what? Light. The light has to fall into darkness in order to be redeemed back up to the light. Because ultimately God is saying, I want you to be better than me. Because I'm bored. Because I'm perfect. Perfection is death. Perfection is stagnation. I'm not going anywhere. Nothing's happening. I don't know what cheese doodles taste like. I don't know what it's like to, get herpes and all the things that humans are enjoying. I don't have any. What's the highs and the lows? Because that's what the corruption of flesh is. It's not just, oh, it's a beautiful day. It's also, oh, it's a horrible day. God doesn't experience that unless God experiences it through you. That is the Ori. In the Bible, it said that God blew the breath of life into man and man became a living soul. Well, in the Yoruba tradition, we have our highest supreme being is called Olodumare. And it's said that Olodumare breathed the breath of life, which we call Emi, into each head, and the head became a living soul. Two totally different sides of the planet here. We got the same story. And Olodumare means the owner of the serpent's womb. Okay? In Egypt, we have the same entity in the name of Atumare. Atumare, where we get the word atom, the atomic beginnings. Mare means serpent. So Atumare is the atomic beginnings of the serpent. Well, wasn't Lucifer also called the serpent? Okay. Now, I know a lot of times we greet each other at these events with the universal greeting of the hippie, because peace we don't use anymore. It's like old school. Now we say light and love, right? Like, I wish you light and love. I mean, I never say it. It's not cool sounding.
Namaste is not so bad.
Namaste, that's always, because you can, namaste. Like, make it sound, light and love is like, there's only so many different ways you can say it. Yeah. But, the light and love problem is that where's the darkness and hate? I gotta have them both. I had light and love up in heaven. I was bored with that. I came down here to experience the separation of ego. Which is hate. I came down here to experience darkness, which is corruption. Because only through my corruption can I be transformed. It is through my light that I'm enlightened. And we experience our enlightenment here on the planet through ecstasy. When we experience ecstasy, now we're brilliant. You know, we're brilliant. We spoke about this earlier, right? We won't give the example. It's a family
Please do.
It's a family event. It's guy talk. But you know, through that ecstasy, in that precise moment, all of a sudden the wisdom of the universe comes to us. You know, and what am I doing here? I didn't want to really do this. We get everything becomes clear. But through our corruption and to humanity, we become transformed. Our corruption comes from our attachment to things that our mind places in us. Your mind is Satan. Okay? And this tradition, the mind is characterized by an Orisha who we say sits at the crossroads. His name is Eshu. In America, they began to call him Ilegba or Legba. Okay, there's even old songs in the South by a musician by the name of Robert Johnson, and he has a song by the name of Crossroads Blues. And in this song, and there was a movie that came, I think it was in 1986 with Ralph Macchio, and you know, Crossroads. Steve Vai was in it as well. And basically, long story short, Ilegba, or Eshu was his original name in Africa. His name was Eshu Ilegbara, which means the launching of a great person of power. And here they shortened it to Ilegba, and down south they say Legba. And he lives at the crossroads, and he's the one who masters and sustains the cosmic concept of segregation. Something has to go there, or it has to go there. That is the idea of the crossroads, right? At the crossroads, what must you do? Choose. You have to make a choice, right? So we have these crossroad entities, which are usually trickster entities as well, right? Eshu, which we spell his name E-S-U, right? His symbol is the cross. You have to go through him to get to other places within the astral planes. Okay, but if we took a J and put it on the front of Eshu and put an S and put it on the back, what would we get?
Jesus.
Jesus. But there's no J's in the Hebrew language. Oh, okay. So we're gonna get off the Bible stuff. It's Ramadan. I really should be talking about the Quran. Yeah, I should be talking about the Quran. Okay. So we have this understanding of the trickster energy, Pan, right? Loki, Christ, Lucifer, Tahuti. These are all entities that sit at the crossroads. Lucero, you know, we go on, there's a lot of them. The Fawn, the Satyr, Baphomet. And their job is to not only exist between two worlds, but their job is to try to trick you into really making a strong decision as to if you want to self-actualize and become the Christ or not. You sure you want to go through the middle of this cross? You sure? Because I'm going to trick you. I'm going to take you all around the world. And the zodiac, we started something. We might start as a Leo. And then the trick is to make you think that you're going to die a Leo. Right? Some people, they live and die by the zodiac. And I'm not trying to disregard, I don't really know anyone's background. You do zodiac readings, I don't want to take that away from you. But when a person is born, their body is born under that sign. The soul is infinite. The soul has nothing to do with being a Leo. It doesn't even care. It just used that to manifest what it needed to manifest in this lifetime. Why? Because the soul has no character. So it might say, hey, to balance out my karma, I need you to be that loud when I come in the room, everybody look at my shirt, Leo. Or I may need you to be that I'm going to cry at sunsets, Pisces. You know, or, you know, I'm not one of those. I'm not going to say anything about mine. So, those of you in the room who fall in those categories, you understand. So, you know, it needs that character, but it will take you around the entire zodiacal wheel until you go through the center. And then when you go through the center and you become the 13th zodiac, none of you evolved. And then and only then have you evolved. Okay? If you're a Christian and you're studying the disciples and you say, oh, the disciples, they love Christ. Until you master the 12 disciples or the 12 disciplines, you will not become the Christ. So in this tradition, we have the selected consciousness of the Orisha. And you have to master each one of them. And mastering doesn't mean I got to learn everything there is about them, but I have to fully epitomize that energy at different times of my life. And when I learn to do that, then and only then can I truly reflect the energy of my own soul. Because my soul is using these various energies to take it to its next level. But we have help. It's the thing that everyone kept laughing when I was talking. There are certain people who come to the planet and they epitomize certain energies so well, we can just look at them to figure out what those energies are representing in this time period. Like Beyonce. She did a movie about Goldfinger or something like that, right? What was in Oshun's Color Gold? Okay, she's married to Jay-Z, right? He's the rapper, right? Clearly everything with him is around the mouth area. Okay, even his lyric, but even in his look. Remember, everything's for a reason. Oshun is married to Shango. Shango is the god of lightning who breathes fire from his mouth. Meaning that his words either bring life or they take it. He has very powerful words. Okay? So what you basically watch when you look at luminaries and stars, you're watching the mythology play out. And by watching the mythology play out, it helps us to evolve the mythology. We have another entity known as Oya, O-Y-A. O-Y-A, Oya, was the entity that Moses used to speak to in the Old Testament. They called it Jehovah, but we just found out what? There's no J's in the Hebrew language. So we know it wasn't Jehovah. Okay, but Oya is the woman of storms. Anybody here watch X-Men? Okay, storm is Oya. Stan Lee wrote Oya into the... If you go back and watch, you're going to notice something. And he specifically made sure that storm was never referred to as a mutant. He did that on purpose. He would only say that in Kenya, storm was worshipped as a goddess. Why? Because she is a goddess. She's not actually a mutant. Okay? So this entity, Oya, the woman of storms, she represents whirlwinds and tornadoes, right? Okay. Who do we think in our society, we can go from now maybe 30 years back, may have epitomized the energy? She also used to be married to Shango. And she represents the energy of the jilted lover and almost even feminism or womanism. Okay, this is Oya. She represents that woman who was hurt by her lover. Okay, but she's storm, she's whirlwinds and tornadoes, she's air. Who might that be? She's Oshun. She's definitely Oshun because Oshun is also a nationalist and a diplomat. Oshun holds nations together. Yeah. We Who do we got for you?
I was going to say Gloria Steinem.
Okay, I'll take that. Yeah. That could work. Yeah. What is it? What's the name? It's too a giggling, but they're not saying. Okay.
I don't want to say it.
How about Tina Turner?
Oh, yeah.
Let's look at her name. Turner. Right? Now, Oya is represented by the bull. What was Tina Turner's original name? Remember? Anime Bullock. Okay? Married to Shango energy in the form of Ike Turner. Okay? Fiery and explosive, but very creative. That's Shango's or Thor's. Okay? That's Ike Turner. Okay? But she made sure I want my name because I'm Oya. I got to keep that. And the spinning. Anybody ever watch her dance?
Mm-hmm.
You see how it plays out? And this whole story of the abused woman hurt by her lover. She was hurt by Shango. And she went on to become like a feminist almost. And the Orisha tradition. So if you look through our society, you'll see these things kind of play back out. And one of the most important things is to try to see where you fit into this whole mythology. Because in this day and time, we are the mythology. That's what I said, you can't look at it like it's thousands of years ago, because if something was to happen right now, we were all to be wiped out. 1,000 years ago, we worshipped the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. If people found our archives, that's what they would say. Right? And it would be a deep mythology. They would be sitting, there'd be somebody here standing here breaking it down. The sky is Santa Claus, and Easter Bunny, because the East is Astarte, and dealing with the Easter knowledge from the East, and the bunny's two ears would represent the choices that one would have to make in life. Sounds good. I was just flowing, that it's just making up junk, But the reality is that's why it's more important for you to understand your mythology than the ancient mythology. Because you are the new mythology, playing itself out. But like Lucifer, the light that falls into darkness, light and love, that's what we say. So if you look at the Luciferian story, that's your story. You wanted to evolve beyond what was normal. Okay? And in order to evolve beyond what was normal, you probably had to lose everything you had. Or at least the walls of your reality had to completely fall down, and you had to start over to become better than what you were. But that's the only way you can evolve. If you were the best painter in the world, right? And you could not be any better, how could I make you better? Yeah, you. No, this one keeps looking out the window. How could I make you a better painter? Anyone? She's the best painter in the world. Now, of course, we know you can't master art, but just for example. Okay, let's say she's a right-hand painter and I tie that hand behind her back.
Make her paint left-handed.
Or make her paint left-handed. Right? I've just stripped her. I've made her fall down into the corruption of humanity and reminded her of all her frailty. But when she masters that, she'll be better than what she was before. But the only way I could make her better was to make her less. You got that? Mm-hmm. The only way God can improve upon itself is for it to negate against itself. Humanity is the negation of God. In order to create something, you have to make yourself smaller. You have to negate from yourself in order to evolve yourself to the next place. This is the core concept in West African thought. Okay, sure, we have Orisha, we have divination, we have rituals, we have dance, we have music and all that good stuff. But ultimately what we're dealing with is the evolving of your Ori, or the evolving of your DNA. That's why Oludumare is the owner of the serpent's womb. Like we have in the Caduceus staff on the ambulance. Okay, because the serpent, it's like in Voodoo, we have Dambala. The serpent represents your DNA. Okay, so what you're always looking to do is to evolve it, right? And to shed skin so you can evolve DNA. It was only a few years ago that scientists actually figured out that DNA is dynamic. And that it actually does, it has a syntax, it has a language, and it actually changes. For years we were told it's static, it is what it is, this is what you were born with. And then we found out something very interesting about DNA. That when they exposed people to fear, the DNA molecules would stiffen. But when they exposed them to environments where they felt safe and a sense of love, they would go soft again. What does that say? Fear locks down your ability to evolve. Okay, and when you're feeling unconditional love and the bravery and the courage that comes from it, you're soft now, you can absorb. Things that are young and alive are what? Soft and supple. Things that are dead or dying become stiff. Okay? This is the concept in Europe of thought. I know we covered a lot of ground, but it's only because I had a very short period to. And I wanted to, more than anything, let you know that when you're dealing with West African sciences, which is voodoo, which is the Yoruba thought, where we're dealing with Orisha and Ifa, and all these words that you may hear now later, we're not dealing with just hocus pocus rituals, people running around fires, but we're dealing with high scientific calculations. And we're dealing with stories and mythology that is still very much active. When we were dealing with the science of Atlantis, like you said, it was pre-flood, right? The flood represents when humanity fell into the darkness of its ignorance. Water or deep water represents your subconscious mind. We have an entity for everything. His name is Olokun. Okay, and he represents the darkness of your subconscious, all those sea creatures that are down there, which is all the stuff you don't want to deal with. Okay, the Leviathans, the Hellmouths, all those different things that mythology already said was at the bottom of the water. That's your crap that you suppress. That's the crap that makes you not want to meditate. When someone says, you should do this meditation, you don't want to do it because all that stuff starts coming up to the surface. So we repress it with more pressure, and it gets even more grotesque. So what Atlantis was when your pineal, your first eye, or the brow chakra, went down into the ignorance of your subconscious. That's all Atlantis was. That's what it represents. Okay? And now we're in a season where Atlantis is rising again. Or, more importantly, the Son of Man is coming back through the clouds. Right? We know that story, the rapture, right? Mm-hmm. But, I mean, if I'm in the basement, how am I going to see when Christ returns? Right? So what are the clouds that keep everything confused? Thoughts. Your left and right brain hemispheres. If you ever look at an image of the brain, it looks like clouds. Mm-hmm. And if you ever look at the pineal in the middle, it looks like a sun. Mm-hmm. So when it's active and it comes online, you just experienced the rapture. You've been caught up by the Son of Man, Solomon, son of man, right? You've been caught up and your spirit has been quickened and you've risen beyond the trap of Satan's left and right brain hemispheres, which keeps you human. Right? That's not what we want. We want to be not mankind, the kind of man. We want to be nymph, alpha, moon, woman, man, child. Okay. But I stress education over ritual and ceremony and self-empowerment, and more so you don't have to keep coming to people like me for readings. You can not only do your own readings, but you can also do your own rituals that are associated with the readings. A lot of times you don't get that when you get readings. Somebody will say something's wrong with you, but you won't really be told how to rebalance it. You just told to come back for another reading, or maybe somebody will make a bath for you or something, which somehow always ends up being about 3 times as much as the reading was. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I wrote a book dealing with that and some other things to try to kind of break people out of it, because we're dealing with the serpent, right? And we're all attached to that same serpent, whether you knew it or not, even though we all look different. And those of us who come to events like this and we're seeking out higher information, we're on the head of the serpent. Society, the masses, are on the tail. So the thing is, even though I'm at the head, and I'm trying to get the body to move, if I can educate society, then I can get to where I want to get to faster. So it's not just a selfless work. I teach so much and give so much information because I want to get out of here and I don't want to come back here again. I'm ready to go make some other world. I don't want to wake up in a crappy diaper. Okay, I want to come back. I know it's a blessing and he's an old soul. And I'm ready to get out of here. I'm ready to hit the road. So,